Okay, Euro USD review using this sequence. This is going to be the first video and introduction to this sequence. It's going to be my favorite out of all of them, right? And this is a trade called beforehand. As you guys know, I'm somebody who's very against teaching in hindsight. So none of this is hindsight. And like I said in the Telegram group, if you were just to focus on this, you would see vast improvements in your trading. And I highly recommend you guys do not take my word for it. Think in your head that I'm bullshitting you. Go into your charts and prove me wrong. Because once you do that, you're going to come out with something really, really special and something you can take and replicate in your trading that is very easy to replicate live as price is moving. It's very mechanical. It's a checklist and you'll see vast improvements. Okay, so let's get into this sequence, right? And there's other sequences, right, with different time frames, which I will release a YouTube video on. Okay, but for now, looking at the dollar here, okay, this is last week, Friday. We had a bullish open low high close. We traded up into this down close candle. Okay, so we go from a weekly level, okay, which is this. Okay, so my favorite is the weekly key levels, or it's the draw on liquidity of the previous weekly low or high. Okay, so in the image I put out, I only mentioned that you're targeting a weekly low or high, right? No, you can also use this for weekly key levels. Okay, so in this scenario, we're going off of a weekly key level. Okay, so you must have a weekly key level. Okay, and this is my favorite sequence. So weekly key level here, the OB. From a weekly key level, we need to see a daily run on stops. So a previous day high must get run into the key level, or we could be at the key level, right? Or, like I said, if you're targeting a previous weekly low, same thing. Okay, that's usually how a one shot, one kill forms as well. Okay, so we have a daily stop hunt into the weekly key level, and then we have candle closure. Okay, so the candle has closed within the previous day's candle. So when we have this scenario here, we go into the next day. Now, on the next day, here's what's very crucial to understand. Okay, we are targeting the previous day's low. Okay, and how is the high of this candle gonna form? We've traded up into the weekly key level. We've run the stops here and we've closed within. So what are we not expecting? We're not expecting this candle's high to get run. So how will this candle's high form? This candle's high is going to form by running a previous session's high. Now, the previous session it runs is irrelevant. It could be Asia forming the high by running the previous session, meaning New York from the previous day. It could be London running Asia, or it could be New York running London and or Asia. That does not matter. You're looking for an AMD on the lower time frame, but a previous session high must be run. And then we target the previous day's low. This right here is an extremely forgiving model, especially if you have the wrong bias. Because if you look at this here, this ended up being a bullish reversal candle, right? However, even with the bias being bearish and the candle ending up bullish, even if it's to go bullish, it's very likely to run the previous day's low before it goes bullish because of the weekly key level and daily stop hunt. So it's a very forgiving model, even if you're not somebody who is very strong with their high time frame bias, right? And this is why I recommend this model to beginners all the way to advanced students. So this is the day where we close within, okay? This is Thursday's trading. That is this candle right here. So before this day even opens, when you have this scenario here, you already know you're going into the next day with one thing in mind, okay? We're looking for an AMD into a previous session's high, okay? So Thursday's trading here. Opening price on Thursday, okay? We want to see the market rally above that, and we're just targeting the previous day's low, okay? So previous session high here. This is the previous New York session high. This is Asia, and you can clearly see we go from an accumulation, the manipulation here, then we have distribution here, okay? And this is where you want to position yourself, right? Once you get that displacement, you want to position yourself here. If you just wait for this here, right, you'll find a lot more high probability trades with less drawdown and a higher strike rate. Now, for the advanced students, with this framework in mind, shorting it from above here, okay, on a lower time frame, or taking this OB here, right, when we closed below with this candle, that's perfectly fine, okay? Now, if you're not advanced, I would recommend to wait for this. right? However, study this as you progress, because eventually what you'd like to get to with this model is a short here and then a pyramid here to previous day's low, and you're done. Okay, you just need one of these every few weeks to pass all the funded challenges you want and make as much money as you want. Okay, so SMT with the previous session high, right? Crucial. If we look at the dollar, right, it makes a higher low, euro, higher high, right? So SMT, and then we have displacement through the IFVG here. You could be short there, right, for the advanced students. For the students with less experience, I would wait for this entry here. And all you're doing is targeting the previous day's low here. So the sequence goes from a weekly key level or a target of a weekly high or low, daily stop hunt with candle closure, and then we go to a lower time frame and look for a previous session high run on that candle's day that we're trading. Once we get that, we just look for a displacement away from the previous session high, a change in the state of delivery, and the market most of the time is going to attack the previous day's low, even if you have the wrong bias. Okay, so that is the focus of the sequence, this specific sequence. Now, high to low here, okay, and 50% here, right, never short a discount. We trade up higher into the 62 retracement level with this FVG. Now, if you do not have enough RR from here, okay, to the previous day's low, what you want to do is target one standard deviation of this distribution price swing. So from this high to this low, one standard deviation, that should be your TP. Okay, and that is what I use for my partial. So if you guys saw, I partialed here at previous day's low because there wasn't enough RR, and then I held another position for -1 standard deviation, and that's where I closed out my trade. Okay, so this is the sequence from weekly key level, daily stop hunt to previous session high run. This is my favorite sequence. There is other sequences, and I'm going to have that video up for you guys on YouTube shortly.